The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. From the heart of Broadway in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, this is Pro Wrestling Unscripted. From the heart of Broadway here in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, the home of Cape Championship Wrestling, it is Pro Wrestling Unscripted, September 26th, 2018, I believe. Yep. We're right around the corner from October, and you know what that means. Halloween Havoc every single day until October 31st.
You know they only did like 4 of those, right?
Yeah, they're on repeat every single day. For those in the back.
And not one per day. All
of them
per day.
4 back-to-back just on loop.
Yeah. Because there's nothing better than, and also we're going to have a special guest here at the Gaming Ground store. Cyclope will be here. Silver King.
I don't think you can actually say that. I don't think you can actually advertise that.
Card subject
unless you
to
actually
change.
got them. In which case, like,
kudos to me for pulling that off. You remember those? This is really just quick, I promise. That craze there for a while where people would post fake events and have like Guy Fieri coming along with Insane Clown Posse and stuff like that. I actually miss those. Those were kind of funny.
Alf. Yeah,
that was actually a friend of mine, Brian McDonald. Brian McDonald did that, and he took it so far that people actually showed up to Taco John's to meet Alf. Taco John's had to put a sign on their door that said, Alf is not coming. This was the work of someone online. And I think Brian actually felt bad because there were actual kids going there to meet Alf. That's when a joke goes too far.
What kids are going to meet Alf?
Their parents are super lame.
Hey, hell with you. I love Alf. I would have taken my kid.
Yeah, but you made it sound like kids were going,
like they were super excited.
Like you told them that the Fortnite dance was going to be there.
Which one?
What if it was Alf doing the floss?
No one under the age of 15 knows who Alf is.
Allie, do you know who Alf is?
Donald Glover rapped about him.
Oh my god.
You know who Alf is, right?
Yes, I know who Alf is.
Okay. And did you know that Alf was not Childish Gambino?
I'm gonna go home.
Shannon Young here with you tonight, hosting Pro Wrestling Unscripted, and we got another full show for you. Down at the end of the table, the 5-star man, Asa Gray.
Yes.
Allie A. Bear. We're going to wait.
Oh my god.
That
I
works.
went home.
You went home.
I went home.
And the big D, Dalton Anthony.
Yo.
Before we get started with the topic at hand, Dalton, you had something to talk about Fire Pro related, and you seemed a little salty, Dalty.
They're jerks.
Yeah.
So the Buy Fire Pro Wrestling, the New Japan stuff's now finally up on the PC store a month after the game released on PS4.
Mm-hmm.
For all the stuff is $20, even though they didn't give it to me at the time they gave it to the PS4 people. And I literally have all these people created already.
Yeah, and we talked about that, though. There is definitely a difference between the creative people and the people that they put in the game, though, because they put a lot of work into making those guys authentic.
And, like, so I think I paid like $20 or $30 for the base game, and on the Fire Pro, they were just like, you'll get it at a discounted Steam price. That's $20.
What's it normally at? Or is it 50, I'm guessing?
I mean, it's 50 for the base game on PS4.
But is that what they're showing on there?
No, they're showing me $20 for it.
And there's no discount on the DLC?
Nope.
Let me see if I can pull it up on my Steam app on my phone. I don't think I will because I don't think I remember my Steam password because I never use it.
They said they were going to do another pack too eventually, and I'm like, I don't want to pay $80 for this game. Like, it's good, but it ain't $80 good.
So the thing I found about Fire Pro Wrestling versus 2K is that I really like creating in Fire Pro and I really like simming matches. But I like when it comes to actually playing it, the computer does such a better job in the matches than I ever could. Like when I'm wrestling in the match, I'm lucky if I can do a punch kick like wrestling move. But if you put it on a sim match, like sim Rey Mysterio versus Zack Sabre Jr. or something like that, Rey is jumping off the rope, he's flipping to the outside and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how to do any of that.
Is it just because you don't know how to do it, or because it's like
it's also really
very
hard.
difficult?
It's
to
very
do it?
difficult.
It's a difficult wrestling game.
You have to be so precise on where you press your button and where. Like in a WWE game, if you want to flip to the outside, you just run off the opposite rope and flip, and it'll kind of direct you to it. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Fire Pro, you have to be specific. You have to be spot on. Okay. So it's just harder. It's just a better game than I am prepared for, unfortunately. But that is good to note. DLC for Fire Pro Wrestling, the New Japan stuff, is available now, right?
On PC.
On PC.
Yeah,
and PS4
so
is the full version.
But it was already available on PS4?
Yes. When the PS4 version launched, it was because it hadn't been out yet, so it was the base game plus the DLC as
that was
one
the only
package.
way you could buy
Right.
it? Okay.
Right. So that's cool.
I mean, that makes sense.
Also, I told the guys I had an announcement, which I was going to save at the show and make a big deal out of a funny thing. But it's kind of funny. I went ahead and pre-ordered 2K19. I went back on everything I said. I'm once again a hypocrite.
I'm gonna ask again, and especially because if we just want to jump ahead to the entrance trailers
wanna
that have come
go to
out,
just 2K?
and just do 2K now.
Okay.
Because I think Jared also put something on Twitter I saw of like, this is the year that it really looks like they're giving you something different. Like, this is the year I'm excited for. This looks like we're getting something new. And like, only because tone does not convey over like online.
You think maybe he was being sarcastic?
I didn't want him to think I was being like, really, like, I like genuinely, why? What about any of what we've seen, aside from we're getting more of a story mode, is at all different to make people excited for this year's game?
I'll go real quick and then you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I was on the fence about it the most. Dalton had it pre-ordered since the beginning. I was on the fence.
Which I get, and to be fair, like Dalton didn't pre-order it day one because he's excited for the game. He wanted the collectibles that came with the super deluxe version.
Funko Pops.
Which I
understand. Like, I'm not trying to discredit you. I'm not trying to like be negative about it, but like, I think that is a important distinction to make. That
whereas I pre-ordered it now because I want to play the game.
I also want to play the game.
Are you getting like did you get a version that you get it early?
I got the deluxe version.
Okay.
And I need to ask you about that, Dalton. Is it just the deluxe version that's early? Or is it any version?
Yeah, it's the deluxe. I'm pretty sure.
You can't just pre-order the base game and get
You might be able to, honestly. I don't know. But
I thought that, but then I went to Best Buy and I pre-ordered the digital deluxe version. Or not digital, the deluxe version.
Yeah.
I need to check that. And like that one was available on Friday, October 5th, which is when the game comes out for pre-release. And then the regular version said it was October 9th. But I thought it was a pre-order any of them and get it early.
No, I'm pretty sure they always do. Like when they did it last year. It's digital or not digital deluxe.
The digital deluxe version.
I need to call one of our pre-order customers here because I think he's under the impression that he gets it early just for pre-ordering it. I need to call him and tell him. But anyway, I watched a lot of videos. I had 3 days off. I was kind of recouping. I wasn't feeling well. And I took an extra day and I watched a lot of videos. A lot of pre-release stuff has come out now, a lot of video, a lot of opinions. And all of the opinions have been pretty much the same, that it's a better version of what they've done recently. It's more fun. It's faster. What I've come to peace with is that I am not going into this thinking that this is going to be a game changer. I'm not going into this thinking, oh, this is going to be the one that makes me go, oh, look what everything they did. I know what it is. And I do enjoy the series. I enjoy playing it with Dalton on, the weekend when we can play it together.
Our tradition.
I enjoy creating things. I enjoy it. Like I enjoy it. I guess it's like kind of what people do with Madden when it comes out yearly, and even though it's kind of the same game every time with small improvements. Although I think the improvements in Madden are bigger than the improvements they make in the WWE games. I know I want to play it, and I just broke down and said, you know what? I know what it is. I know what I'm getting into. I'm not mad about it. I'll pick it up. But with that said, I don't think it's as drastic of a change as everyone's making it out to be. Big head mode does not appeal to me in any way. Actually, okay, the humor of it's great. Have you watched videos of it?
No.
To see their giant heads and like the facial reactions and stuff, because you kind of get a sense of how much they put into that when you see it enlarged. The way they blink, the way their faces move and they react to pain and stuff. I never noticed it until the heads were bigger. And I'm like, well, that's actually pretty cool.
The only little bits that I've seen of big head mode, I don't focus on that. I focus on, oh, look how terrible the hair is, but now it's bigger.
And the clipping.
Yeah,
because the clipping.
That's just big head mode.
Yeah, you can't not have that when you have like gigantic craniums running around. There's the tower mode excites me. That is fresh in the sense that it's never been in a WWE game. I enjoy that mode in Mortal Kombat. I enjoyed it in Injustice. So I think it's going to be good for this. And it's just a bunch of tweaks and stuff that I don't know. I want to play it and. That's my justification, but I'm not going to put it online and say, "Oh, this is the one that's going to change it up."
I'm not asking you to justify the purchase at all. I'm curious what everybody thinks. Because to me, from someone who has not enjoyed the series, pretty much at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm going in wanting something that they are just not. That is not the product that
it's Power Rangers and me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I totally get that this is not what I'm wanting. I'm just being bitter and stubborn.
Well, plus this is the only game in town.
So every year, and that's what kind of also upsets me about it. But to me, it just looks exactly the same as every other year, except now, oh look, it's big head mode, and the graphics are just kind of a touch better.
Yes and no.
But then, like,
it looks the same.
But the problems that they've had and have consistently had and have done nothing to change, like, really? You still can't... Your hair is just as bad as ever? Like, that entrance video we watched over the weekend or whenever it was, and we saw Edge, and, like, what is that character model?
That character model for Edge has been bad since what?
No,
12?
last year's was not nearly as bad as it was this year.
Like, there's no way they were this bad. Because this was, like, a police sketch of someone who saw Edge's brother.
And not Christian.
That then melded with a bullfrog.
He's not wrong.
The bullfrog's my favorite part. The thing the entrances that I've watched have been good. And Dalton, I'm gonna get to you after this. I just want to mention the worst one that I've seen. The one that's most atrocious for me, and it's one I showed Allie, was Maurice, because Maurice has her hair flip, and boy is it bad in this game. Like I
her
swear,
hair has joints.
Didn't they have one year where they got it right? Where she did the hair flip and it comes forward and then flips up. Whereas this one, it stays on the side. Her head bounces up and it just kind of moves. It's not good.
Yeah.
And it's 2018. There's no reason that it shouldn't be on there. But I'm a part of the problem. Like, I would never lie. Well, I would lie, but not this time. I'm very much part of the problem. Dalton, what about it this year are you sold on?
The Funko Pop.
Son of a bitch.
No, but I
I buy
because you've said the same thing of like, no, this year it kind of looks like they're giving us more of what we want, and I genuinely don't know.
It's supposed to be more fun
as an outsider. Like, I don't understand what that
like
means.
the last 2 years, I've told you they've done the complete data dump of all of it, like
Right.
where we see everything.
They release it to streamers and YouTubers, and they just take apart the game brick by brick and be like, here is everything that we found.
Yeah, so the one thing, because they did it at the Performance Center this year, which I don't know how I need to become that big of a YouTuber where I just get to go to the Performance Center to play a video game, because that would be awesome. But
I have ruined those chances for you, and I apologize.
that's fine. Apparently the rep said that this year we are focusing on fun. I was gonna buy the game
In
regardless.
a video game?
Well, because they said we understand that it's been a simulation the last couple of years, and that has turned a lot of people off.
I hate that, by the way. I hate that they're using the term simulation like it's bad. I love simulation. That's what I love about wrestling.
I don't get why you can't have a simulation that's fun to play.
Well, because here's the thing, with
NBA's fun.
So one of my favorite stories from Justin was him saying, him creating his character and going online the first time, and everybody's basic moveset is all finishers.
Yeah.
And he's using just, actual wrestling moves. And it's very few people are playing their game that way because it's, it's wrestling. Mm-hmm. You're gonna, you're not going online hoping to put together an actual 5-star match. So you can have, I don't see why there is a difference between the simulation, but just making it easy, No Mercy style, to pick up and play, just with the graphics. Because to me, that is a wrestling sim. That's what a simulation is. And again, maybe it's just what I'm looking for and the product that they're putting out. Maybe this is the year, if I pick up, because I will probably play it with you guys, because you'll have it here,
right? And
maybe I will just be oh yeah, this is if you're telling me hey, this is drastically different. It moves quicker. And
so, do you think? Oh, go ahead.
Because that was the thing, and the thing that I was going to say is the reason that people have been so down on it as a simulation is because actual wrestling psychology doesn't translate well to a video game.
No,
because and we all know that nobody wants to play a video game and actually chain wrestle.
Right.
But that's how matches start. So it's one of those but whenever you have a wrestling a wrestling game that's based in more of a simulation than an arcade game, that's where the fun kind of this kind of is dragging really slow because I can only do I have to make all of my move finishers.
They have to cut off my heat, and now so it's okay, well,
yeah.
I'm gonna win the match, but now I have to get beat up for 3 minutes.
Well, they added the stamina system, which made it more realistic, and everybody hated it.
And
I'm the only one that plays with it, or the reverse system. Yeah.
I hate the reverse slam.
But there's a lot of people that talk about Fire Pro about what a better wrestling game it is, and I'm thinking have you played Fire Pro? No one sells in that game. I saw a guy.
It's New Japan's video game.
Yeah, I saw a guy go through he hit the barbed wire fence, it exploded, and then he got up a second later and kept wrestling with no injuries. This game is way more realistic. I was going to ask you, do you think that if they did put out a new version of No Mercy, the same basic gameplay, tweaked obviously, but let's say it had the same graphical problems and commentary problems of 2K. Because let's say the game is solid, but it still has those same, like, the technology is just not there to get the hair flips and stuff like that. Do you think you would still enjoy the game as much, or do you think those problems would sully you?
For me personally, yes, I would enjoy it more than what the 2K games are, because like right now, the 2K games have the terrible commentary, they have the terrible like hair physics and all of that weirdness, and for me, the game is just not fun. So not only am I not having fun in the core thing that I'm supposed to be doing, then I also have to endure all of this extra BS. Whereas if I was having fun actually playing the game, I could probably deal with, okay, these are some minor gripes, all things considered,
Right.
because the game itself is just a lot of fun.
Yeah. The last good...
Like, I would be bummed that they couldn't figure it out. And again, I'm just a sideline here with offering no solutions.
Well, yeah, but you're also not saying, like, this game is garbage, the people that made it should be arrested.
Right, no.
You're just
like-
saying it's not for you.
Right. But I will say, like, I do think that I feel like the advancements that they have made in the series have not been on par for what they should be.
I can agree with that, because especially even for a while, it looked like the game actually took a step back in terms of graphics. Like some of those character models. I remember the Booker T one from like 2013 or 15, and then they showed a picture of like TNA Impact from whatever year that was, and it was so different. Like Impact looked so much better, and it was like, how? Well, the answer was because they had less wrestlers and all that stuff. That's complicated. The thingeries right there. Boy, I had a good point to make, and it's gone.
The thing that makes me really excited for this year's game, because that's what you asked me,
Yeah.
career mode. It looks like they are borderlining, like, I watched the first 30 minutes, and they are going, like, really, really opening up curtain of, like, indie wrestling.
They are.
Because, like, it's legit, your character is driving around you're in your dad's
Living in.
Yeah, thank you. You're living in your dad's pest control van, and everybody's like, well, that's weird. Be like, well, my dad passed away, so the van isn't being used, and this is what's getting me from town to town. And like it's starting like that, but then you know that all of like the Wyatt compound and multiverse stuff is also happening in career mode. So it looks like it's just gonna make a full, like, from dusk till dawn left turn at some point, and I'm super excited to see where that is.
That career mode's a little weird, though, because they really do portray it as almost like behind the scenes. When you go to the first place. By the way, Blade Baron
Is the producer,
which is
so apparently he pissed somebody off and lost his agent's job backstage.
So if you've paid attention to the 2K series, this is like the only ongoing storyline was that Blade Baron started as a wrestler in 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Then he was a backstage agent in the last game, and now he's running an independent wrestling promotion. Like, that is the storyline they're going with over time. But when you meet him, and then Matt Bloom comes in, and you're there with your opponent and Matt Bloom, and they're talking about, we're scouting tonight, we're scouting your opponent, and he's like, hey, just don't do anything to make me look bad and stuff like that. It very much makes it seem like a work. They're working together. But I know later on you piss Triple H off, and now you got to fight him and his cronies, and it makes it seem like it's real. It's almost, and I'll have to play the game to know for sure, but it almost seems like it's blurring that line a la WCW.
I love it.
Have they announced how that career mode is going to work? Because is it because right now 2K is in incredibly hot water.
Well, for the NBA game, yeah.
Because of the NBA game and the way that my career mode works.
Are you asking about like transactions and stuff?
Yeah.
So if it's working the same way it did last year, you can't actually buy virtual currency. You have to win it in matches.
Okay.
And then spend it on packs, which gives you random stuff.
The only good thing about that is last year it was completely random. Like if I wanted tire parts, I would have to hope for it in a pack.
So
this year it is actually like specific.
You're
so
buying attire packs and things like that.
Yeah, so at least that's good. But again, it's all you have to get it in game. My knowledge.
I mean more. So with the NBA 2K series right now, to be able to dribble the ball well, you have to put points into your dribbling skill. The only way to earn those points is by either playing an ungodly amount of hours because they cut the XP for the general public release. Or you can just pump cash into the game and buy that and then do that. So are you upgrading your stats like through wrestling, or are you having to...
Wrestling.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it's always been. I'm assuming they're keeping it that way.
Unless they change it. Like, we won't know until it comes out. There's a chance that they could put it out and go,
well, the NBA,
here's your money option.
To be fair, the NBA one, they did require the microtransactions to use. However, the reviewers were given okay, here's 100,000 points worth. And also you're earning more. They tripled the experience that you earned per game for the review copies. And then when the game hit street date, they cut it by a third. And then, unless you spent the extra money on the version of the game, you started with nothing.
So we can't talk about this forever, but I do want to mention one thing, and that is one thing I always said about the NBA games, to a lesser extent the WWE games, because you can take the stance of someone that's going through the indies that's then going to WWE wouldn't be as good, and they'll learn as they go, right? But to me, there's no reason that an NBA starter should be so inept that he can barely dribble, that he can barely... No one would sign him.
How did you get to the NBA?
How'd you get to this point? Yeah, that always baffled me. Anyway, we're going to have a full review of that, not next week, but the week after. And we'll let you know how it goes. So let's go on to the other news in this week, because there's actually a lot here. I didn't know this, and I saw it when I was looking through it, and it's sad. So let's start with the really sad, and that is that X-Pac's wife has passed away.
Yes.
I actually haven't even seen that anywhere. So when was it?
A couple days ago.
Yeah, it was very recent.
Because he put a tweet out.
That was it cancer, if I remember correctly, or was it something else?
I honestly don't know. I put it on there just because it's like we tend to like give condolences when things like this happens.
Yeah.
I assume Dalton would know more about it just because that's your guy.
I saw the tweet and got really sad, and I didn't want to dig into it anymore.
That's fair.
He very much seems like he is incredibly devastated, as you would expect from someone losing their wife.
That's somebody that's just kind of like turned a lot of their stuff around.
So I'm reading his tweet about it, and I don't know if I want to even say it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which is fine. We don't necessarily need to get into it. Just offer condolences.
Our condolences for sure. Very, very tragic and sad. Let's move on to the other news of the week, though, and it's some good news, and that is that Abyss is going to be the next person inducted to the Impact Hall of Fame. We met Abyss at, was it last year, I believe?
It was the Sykeston show.
The Sykeston show. He was incredibly nice and humble. A great wrestler. He's also going to be wrestling at Stride very, very soon. Is he wrestling or just an appearance?
No, he's wrestling.
He's wrestling? Who's he wrestling? Do we know?
Has that been announced yet?
Abyss?
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger.
Okay. Yeah, it's Matt.
Roger won a fatal 4-way at El Dorado for Wrestling for Sale.
That's right.
The rematch.
Yep. Good luck, Roger.
Do you think the Hustlers will show up? Just to help out.
That'd be
I
funny.
hope Abyss gets his hands on him again. It's really hard. We'll talk about it later.
I'm actually really sad because I actually didn't get a chance to talk to Abyss at all.
Oh, at the
and out of
Sykeston show?
everybody at this table, I'm the biggest Abyss fan. Just because like the stuff we were doing and like doing because like I was helping at one of the merch tables for a little bit and doing the backstage interviews, blowing up the balloons for Mickie. So I was busy that show. Just everything I was doing was just in not where he was.
And plus that show was not a chaos show. We weren't doing chaos at the time.
Yeah. So because I remember as he was leaving, I told Lee, I was like, oh man, I'm really bummed I didn't get to meet him. And he's like, he's right there. Go say hi. And I was like, man, he is on his way out, bag in hand. I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
To be like, oh, hey, by the way, really big fan. Thank you.
Hey, Dalton,
I do work here though.
I'm not just a fan.
Yeah. I'm not some weirdo. hi. But yeah, no. So I could gush about Abyss for a really long time. Also, we forgot to turn the live off for.
I'm on it.
All right. Yeah, just hit stop streaming.
I just realized that was on.
Thank God it doesn't loop, or you'd be watching the second episode again.
But no, he is. I've made the comparison before. He's basically Impact's Kane.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to do the whole like, oh, he's a knockoff character because, Impact has the knockoff version of WWE. I mean that in the sense that he was a big monster, but he also had such range that you would not expect that from the initial portrayal that you got. Because he is legitimately hilarious. The Joseph Park stuff.
I'm about to say he did like a dual thing, didn't he, with Joseph Park as like an attorney?
Yeah, Joseph Park was the attorney, but he was also like the alter ego to Abyss, and they kind of played with that a little bit.
Right.
Some of it was better than others, but like that's everybody's career, honestly. He is an incredibly talented big man who I don't think is going to get the respect he really deserves because he never had a run in WWE, which is unfortunate because that is how a lot of people are going to gauge careers because you have of course you've seen The Undertaker and Kane and Big Show, but you may not have seen some of Abyss's stuff.
It would be like someone asking, did you play in the majors?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And even though I would put him up there with any of those guys, it's just he's not as well known and he wasn't able to really show what he can do at that level.
I had friends who, I remember before you guys, I had other wrestling friends and they saw Abyss and I remember them. What's that?
They weren't. And if you did, they weren't as cool as us.
They were definitely not as cool as you guys. But they used to talk about Abyss and say like, it's just Kane with a Mankind mask. And I always remember thinking like,
I mean,
Kane was
that's
Kane
a-
with the mankind mask.
for a while they weren't entirely wrong.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, but he did enough to make that his own. Like, and he really truly made that character his own. So it's
It's good to see him going. Is he the third person?
No,
Because I know Angle and Jarrett, right?
Gail Kim.
Gail Kim. I forgot about Gail Kim.
Isn't
Christian?
No. Christian?
No, Christian
No.
Christian appeared
At
at
Slammiversary.
Sting. Yeah.
Sting. Yeah. There's not a lot of people in there.
No, yeah, because they only do one per year.
Right.
They don't have like a class.
Do you think they'll ever have, I know this is just a quick question, do you think they'll ever have guys like AJ Styles and them in there, or do you think because they're in WWE, there would be a problem? Like,
No,
even
I think honestly we've seen them already. Like we've seen them do stuff like that before. Like with the WWE wanted Ric Flair,
right.
So they asked
as part of the Horsemen.
Yeah, so they sent over, which an interesting story, and I can't remember who posted it. I think it was on Reddit or something. But like the deal was Flair could show up to the Hall of Fame, and TNA at the time could get anyone to appear at Bound for Glory, Bound for Slammiversary. I'm pretty sure it's Bound for Glory. They could have gotten literally anyone. If they said they wanted Cena on TNA, they could have gotten Cena. They asked for Christian because it made sense that he was actually a person there. They could have, gone for the huge
shock.
ratings boost and the
Yeah.
shocking appearance, but they went for someone who actually, meant something to the company.
Which is
So
very, very cool.
I thought that was a super cool little tidbit.
Speaking of Impact, and this is me.
I think Team 3D's also in the. Did you say the Dudleys?
I did not,
Okay, I'm pretty sure.
which would make sense.
I'm pretty sure the Dudleys are in it as well.
I think I said last week that I thought it was odd that Impact or WWE had not signed any women wrestlers from Impact, and I don't know if we figured anybody out that had been an Impact that went over, but Asa sent it like the next day or the day after that they actually have signed Mia Yim.
Yep.
Which is very cool. She was Jade in Impact, and she's an incredible
Part of the
wrestler.
She was also in last year's Mae Young too.
Yep.
And she's in this year. Apparently she like officially started back on like the 16th. So it's been relatively recently, but it was around the same time as the Mae Young Classic started to air.
And I hope they sign more people because there's a lot of talented women in Impact. A lot of people forget. I mean, it's not the people that are in there now for the most part, but where everyone talks about the WWE Women's Revolution, Impact really got that started with the Knockout division. The Knockouts were doing things that the Divas weren't doing.
Oh yeah, and that has a lot to do with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong.
Yeah.
Also, just to clarify, we got pretty much everybody in the Impact Hall of Fame except for one. Order of induction is Sting, Kurt Angle, Team 3D, Jeff Jarrett, and then in the same year as Jarrett, Earl Hebner, and then Gail Kim, and now Abyss.
Hebner's a weird one. Not saying he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of
he
Fame.
was their
but,
senior referee for
but he's not in WWE
Ever
Hall
since
of
he
Fame,
got
is he?
ever since he got fired from WWE.
yeah minimum 10 years. Like what does it say?
He was one of the people you could meet back.
Senior referee 06 to 17. So
Yeah. And he was one of the big people you could meet backstage at that super awesome house show.
I'm incredibly surprised.
I have a picture with him.
He was never inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And what was he fired for? I don't even
Selling
remember.
bootleg merch.
Yep.
Son of a bitch. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay, never mind. That's probably why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
And again, it's one of those things with look how many
That's
people-
insane.
We've said how many times like, oh well, that bridge is burnt. Bridge is burnt.
Burgess Burr.
Bird. So I mean, I genuinely think it's probably a matter of time
Before he's invited.
until he's inducted.
Well, at
If
some
he
point they're
wants
gonna
it-
run out of people
if
no
he-
matter what.
If he accepts it, like I mean, maybe there's bad blood that he's because he was part of that lawsuit that just got dismissed as well. So
But he's also
maybe
one of the
maybe
most...
there's a little bit more time. He the most iconic referee in wrestling.
Arguably.
One of.
Because I also, Nick Patrick, Pee Wee Robinson,
Charles Robinson.
Charles Robinson.
I would give especially now because he's still he was doing it in WCW and
He
now
was.
he's still there.
Whatever happened? All right, I know this is a tangent, but whatever happened to Nick Patrick? Does he still ref?
No.
I don't think so. I
I don't think so.
Nick Patrick was always
He probably retired.
one of the most iconic refs. Tim White.
Because Tim White.
Tim White.
That's not wise.
Mr. White. And then, of course, Hebner was a part of that huge, one of the biggest angles of all time, the double ref with Hogan when Hogan lost the title. Yeah, I imagine it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Of course, the great Ali, who is the best referee in wrestling right now?
Lane Austin.
Kelly.
Kelly. Lane is a GM.
Oh,
Lane
Dalton.
is general manager. Dalton.
I'm sorry.
CeeLo's good too. They're both good. They're all good. Everyone's good. That's the greatest thing about this. WWE Network is filming a pilot surrounding Broken Matt Hardy. That could be good or awful.
Yeah, he tweeted something about Senor Benjamin preparing the garden in the fields of battle and things like that. And then this came out within the next couple days. Which is, I mean, on the one hand, if he is truly retired from like in-ring stuff, if his in-ring career is over, that's a super bummer. But this is a cool way for him to kind of still stay relevant. If on the off chance that he can and does come back, and at the same time, like, there was clearly so much love and dedication put into that broken character that he is able to continue it in some way. And if this is something like the Edge and Christian's, what's their network show called?
The Totally Awesome Show.
Okay, yeah.
Podcast of Reeks or something.
If the
Totally Awesome Show.
that Reeks of Awesomeness.
Reeks of Awesomeness.
Because their podcast is the Pod of Awesome.
Security Blanket.
If he can...
Good name.
Thank you.
If he can do something where he has like kind of that creative control over it, like it seems like ENC do, listening to them on their podcast talking about filming stuff, this could be amazing.
That's one of the things we said too when they first talked about Matt Hardy. Is like, give him a show on the network and let him do his thing. And I think that like a scripted show based around Matt Hardy and his insanity, and like especially if you have guest stars from WWE come in, like see him interacting with like John Cena or guys like that. I think that could be a lot of fun, or it could be a train wreck.
I was trying to think of like any Impact guys that were part of those like things
That are in WWE now.
That are in WWE now is like, but the only one I can really think of is Lashley. Just have Lashley show up for an episode, just being like, seriously, I'm doing this again.
What about Helms? Is he a part of WWE? Or is he?
No. I think he's doing something at the Performance Center right
He
now.
just
but
he took a picture at the Performance Center with like Christian when he was down there. And
hashtag I know a guy.
Yeah.
Talking about injuries. Oh, let's talk about this. Oh,
Which one?
Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
If you watched Monday Night Raw, you saw the execution of Liv Morgan by the coward Brie Bella.
Jesus.
Wow.
There's a movie. It's a long story. I butchered the title, but anyway. So it was during a tag match. It was a 6-man tag. It was Brie and Nikki and Natalya
Yep.
going up against
The Riot Squad.
The Riot Squad. And Liv Morgan took the yes kicks, or the Brie kicks, or whatever they're called now. Brie mode kick. I don't know. And during the third or fourth one, it looks like Liv she gets kicked in the chest. She lowers her head, and Brie just catches her flat in the face. Then catches her again flat in the face.
There was one that clipped her that I think kind of stunned her, and then that's when she leaned in and really caught the last one.
And it was brutal.
It looks like she looks away, and then she changes her tempo. So like the speed of the kicks changes. Like they're not just a flat rhythm. There's it speeds up a little, which is probably what caught Liv the first time.
Right.
And then rocked her a little, and then that's when she got the second one.
And I really like Liv Morgan. This is super unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate no matter what.
I've liked her since NXT.
Except for
This song.
Oh, that song.
Which now she comes out to Ruby Riot's song, so everything is great.
That's good. A lot of people are calling for the head of Brie Bella. Dalton, you disagree with that.
Yeah.
Tell us why. And first off, I also don't think that Brie Bella is the worst wrestler of all time. I don't think she's I have seen there's so much venom online about what happened. Oh, yeah. And yeah, it was a mistake. It was an accident, and it could have been done better. And I do believe Brie Bella is at fault for it. But mistakes like this happen. Like, wrestling is not a safe sport. It sucks. But the people that are saying like Brie is a piece of garbage, she should have never come back, like, that's too much. That's a little much. Dalton.
I don't agree with all the hate she's getting, just because it's one of those that because I watched it again today before we recorded. We had people here, and I was like, I'm gonna watch it again just to see. And I think it's like 70-30, like responsibility there, because it didn't look like Brie's height of her kick changed at all. Like, it looked like she was putting that kick in the same spot every time until the one that really took her out. I think that first one she had to have felt her head hit on her knee, because it looked like that first one hit her, like the knee hit her. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, she shouldn't have thrown the kick that knocked her out. But it looked like Liv put her head in the wrong spot on that first one, and that's what clipped her. And then she was, because I think Daniel Bryan's done that thing where he speeds it up. Mm-hmm. But she did it literally right after kicking, kneeing her by accident, and probably didn't think she was that far out. But whenever she got hit, she started going down more. and that so
Fell
whenever,
into it.
Yeah, she fell into it. So it's one of those. It's just really bad timing for Brie because she had that match where she botched 2 suicide dives.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying she's the most dangerous person in the world. And
She also kneed Vega in the face super hard. Like, so Zelina Vega on SmackDown. It's the thing where, like, I also agree that calling for, like, some of the reaction online, go figure, is way over the top and unnecessary. But at a certain point, like, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, well, this is an isolated incident when it's really not. Like, there is a trajectory here. And I also think part of the vitriol that comes from it is how protected everyone knows the Bellas are.
Yeah.
Because if the roles were reversed...
Oh, and it was Liv that
and,
kicked
like,
to Brie?
Then, you know, would Liv get an article on WWE.com highlighting the tweet she sent out being regretful like Brie did?
Yeah, that was a little over the top.
Someone,
yeah, that happened.
If someone, you know, or if that was Ronda Rousey that was getting hurt, like, would they be as, oh, no, yeah, no, just accidents happen. Like, I think that's part of it, too, and that feeds into it. Justified or not, I do think that is part of the conversation that's happening online.
Yeah.
Again, though, 80% of it is just outrage. I don't like her, so I'm picking at any excuse I can to call for her head.
So the argument that you just said is being made, but is not being made as intelligently as you just said it.
Right.
Because it's one of those that, like...
I also didn't call her a C word at all.
Yeah, like, it wasn't...
I've seen talentless thrown out there way more than I care to.
Yeah, because it's one of those, like, getting hit in a wrestling ring happens. You'll get clipped. It's part of it. I've clipped people in practice by accident. I have been clipped in practice by accident. The important thing is that she did apologize for it, but it's one of those, like, she took a little bit off of Liv Morgan's career, if not a lot. And I was talking to somebody last night at training, and he said, like, it was Jay Spade. Jay looked at me, and he was just like, the best worker of all time, Owen Hart, broke somebody's neck.
Yeah, it's a series of unfortunate events.
And I think the thing that compounds it is
multiple occurrences.
Liv should have been done. She should not have continued to do anything in the match. She returned to the ring for that suplex spot. Like, she kept going, even though they were kind of like, no, you should, like, no, you need to stay here.
That's
and
just
also,
kind of a thing.
And also to compound onto the Brie hate, like, not that I'm trying to, but just, like, later in the match, there's that really awkward slingshot into the forearm thing that the Riot Squad does, but Brie just cracks Ruby in the mouth, and both Ruby just completely no-sells it and gets in the ring. Sarah Logan even just, like, gestures like, I don't know what's going on. So
well, you can see whenever, to me, one of the scariest parts about the match is when Brie picks Liv up and has to make it look like she's pushing her into the corner. And you can see Sarah Logan's face. First off, Brie is pulling her. Liv falls down.
Yeah.
Because she's out.
Yeah. She was knocked clean out.
Yeah.
And you can see Sarah Logan's face. She's kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? Do you think this is a similar thing like with what happened with Ryback? Do you think Ryback was an unsafe worker?
Depending on who you ask.
I think a lot of unsafe things happened when Ryback was wrestling. But at the same time, he has one of the greatest saves in the history of pro wrestling.
Oh, when he saved
Kalisto,
yeah.
in their match.
It's one of those... Oh, I used to be so opinionated about this. And now I'm just like, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Well, I think you have to, because look at some of the great. You said Owen Hart, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, broke someone's neck. D'Lo Brown,
I mean,
paralyzed a guy for the rest of his life.
Even more recently, like Seth Rollins,
broke
a lot of
Sting.
Well, like, ended Sting's career, broke Cena's nose. Yeah. Like, for a while there, like Bret Hart's whole thing, like why the internet doesn't like Bret Hart now, is because he said Seth Rollins was unsafe.
Right. So would you deem Brie Bella unsafe?
I mean, I don't think I'm in a position to put that, but I think that we have now seen, since she's come back, we have seen a clear pattern of herself or whoever she's in the ring with either potentially being injured or being injured.
So I guess my biggest question, and I wonder what you guys think, is why? Why is she doing this? Like, because
total divas.
Well, no. I don't mean like why is she back, but she wrestled before and she never hurt anybody. So why all of these injuries now that she's come back? Is it ring rust? Is she careless?
Yeah, how long has it been since she's been in a ring? Like you mentioned with the suicide dives, her body has changed. She's had a kid.
Mm-hmm. And she even said that.
Completely changes how your body, the weight of your body sits, all of that. And that's going to affect how your body moves in a ring. And if she just thinks, oh, I know how to do this, I've done this before, but hasn't learned how her body has changed, that can mess a whole lot up.
This is going to be a really weird comparison, and don't think I'm being a jerk, but like it's basically in wrestling terms, she had a major injury and is coming back to it and doesn't know how to compensate it. And it's one of those like suicide dives are tricky enough as it is. Like there's a lot that goes into it. That's just like, all right, cool. If you have to push down on the rope, push down on the rope. Make sure your feet aren't pointed down. Like there's a lot that goes into it. I've never done one where I get cut off in the middle of it because that was the first one. I think Sarah Logan was supposed to
cut her off and
it didn't happen. But like just doing that dive alone is kind of tricky. And I've never done it after like a substantial body change.
Well, and she even said like in an interview where she's like, no, yeah, I'm like, I have 10 pounds more than I am. And I just move differently. And it wasn't something that she had really accounted for. So,
and her weight sits differently now because she gained weight and it's probably in places that she hasn't gained weight before.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to say she's unsafe, but I do think at a certain point when you're in WWE, which is,
top level
is absolute top level performance. Those are things that need to be accounted for. And if you have this kind of pattern, I think you have to kind of take a step back and realize, okay, what are we
work on it?
What are we working on?
You can't excuse it anymore. You have to address it.
Right. So, and again, like, so I'm not trying to be disrespectful or like, be some, know everything smark on a podcast, but
I think you're right though. At a certain point, if there's enough smoke, there's probably fire. You need to address that.
Because you also have to keep in mind, like she was not wrestling. She kind of quit her in-ring stuff before Nikki did.
Yeah.
Because she kind of turned into Nikki's manager or second to, like out there. So you have even longer before she was a regular competitor, aside from like those one or two things that she did intermittently. But WWE has confirmed, the whole story of this is WWE confirmed that, of course, Liv Morgan got a concussion.
Because she got rocked. Like anytime.
Oh yeah, she was knocked unconscious. You don't. Yeah. The fact, like the odds of not having a concussion after something like that is.
It's weird what we've learned about concussions over the couple of years. Just being like, oh, you mean just getting knocked out does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dirt sheets, of course, have said that the Riot Squad apparently, especially like Ruby Riot, apparently is furious about it. Even though Liv Morgan was very understanding. Well, because I do believe it's an accident.
Yeah.
Like it's an accident. You like Dalton said. Dalton does this weekly. Accidents happen. It just sucks. But like, it sucks. But once you address the problem, or maybe don't have her wrestle anymore. But like attacking her online and attacking the person that she is, and attacking her as a woman, it's ridiculous. The worst part about wrestling are the fans.
I couldn't be a woman wrestler.
You literally couldn't.
Well, like that, and like no, I couldn't.
You probably couldn't handle.
Yeah, no, I would.
Life as a woman.
I would. Oh yeah, no, like people shit on me enough as it is. Like I don't need the added stress of like being called a name that I would probably murder somebody for.
We said earlier that WWE is very much top tier, and it's amazing how many people look at people in WWE and go, "He has no talent. He doesn't belong being in there."
It's like how it works.
Yeah, like, are you kidding me? Like, an NBA team does not put a guy that needs the virtual currency.
Right.
And these people work really hard for this spot.
Right.
So, man, grow up. All right, internet, let's move on.
She had to do a diva search.
Who's that?
Which,
Brie.
And I will say, like, if there are truth to the rumors that, like, Ruby and Sarah are mad, that makes sense. Because it's like, if something happened to, like, if someone did something to you,
you'd be mad.
And you forgive them, I would still be like, no.
That's happened.
It has.
That has happened a lot. Let's move on. Mickie James, speaking of injuries, Mickie James replacing Sasha Banks in the Mixed Match Challenge due to injury.
Yes.
And I don't know what is Sasha's injury.
I meant to have that pulled up.
Did we figure out Alexa Bliss's yet?
She is out for the rest of the season.
That's what
in all of the marketing materials, she has been replaced by
Ember and
by Ember Moon. Did
they win? Are they continuing?
I haven't been keeping up yet.
I've not been keeping up.
So I don't think it's single elimination this time.
Oh.
Well, there was like a round robin. Or no, they brought somebody back. Yeah, never mind. I'll shut up.
So I mean, I've only seen like bits and pieces, so I don't know how this is actually going. Which I will say, Mixed Match Challenge, like the little clips that people cut out and post to Reddit are already like my favorite thing. Miz in the ring with Carmella and R-Truth and Asuka saying that
awesome truth.
you have a good moonwalk. You think your moonwalk is good? I have the best moonwalk in the world. And then he proceeds to do like an actual like Neil Armstrong style like just stuff like that is.
Why is Miz the Miz? He's
I
so
also
good.
want to buy all of the team shirts.
God, you talk about humble beginnings. We've talked about it before on the show. When Miz started, he was the most throwaway. I hate that person. Get him out of here.
Because he was a reality star.
He was Mike the Miz.
Yeah, he was Mike Mizanin from
The
Real
real
World.
world.
the Real World. Like why
One of the
you-
original seasons.
That was a show,
and
guys.
A shit show.
And the Miz was basically his Brie mode. The Miz was who he was when he was drunk, and it was a professional wrestler character.
You ain't wrong.
He's done well for himself. You have to admit, though,
Yes.
he's done pretty well. He's done okay for
Former
himself.
world
Don't-
champion.
Yeah, married to Maurice.
That's his
has
greatest
a child with her.
I mean, arguably one of the greatest intercontinental champions in WWE history.
Boy, what a... Imagine going from the real world and thinking like, I love wrestling. I want to do wrestling. And then skip ahead 10 years and it's like one of the greatest intercontinental champions of all time. That mess with you.
Legit, I'm looking at all of the shirts for the Mixed Match Challenge, and I wish I was rich. Because I want one of each. They're pretty awesome.
I hear if you trade in Dr. Pepper caps, you can get those.
I don't think I'll get that shirt.
Apparently, there is not a lot of information about the nature of Sasha Banks' injury, or how long she'll be out, or what's even hurt. So that's not.
So that's a work in progress.
That's not a good sign.
Story in progress, very sucky. Other injury news: Joey Janela has a potential knee injury, has an MRI scheduled. You guys talked a little bit about
It
this
ain't
before the show.
potential. It's a knee injury.
He dove off the top onto Psychosis at one of the Game Changer Wrestling shows, and his knee just kind of it went the wrong direction. It looked really bad. He posted an update on Twitter that I couldn't get to load on my phone because it was a video. So I'm gonna try to pull that up now. But yeah, it looks really bad, and that is super heartbreaking because he's really kind of. For everything that's happening in independent wrestling, like he's actually a pretty big name.
He's in the epicenter of it.
Yeah, between Game Changer Pro and just like his character work and him and Penelope Ford, like this is a terrible time for this to happen, and it's just. Let me see if I'm trying to pull
The
that up.
Invisible Man got his payback.
Injuries are always so. I mean, it just sucks. Wrestling is such a, and that goes back to the Brie thing. It's not always high impact, dangerous moves that get people hurt. It's gonna be the most basic move in the world.
Remember when Neville broke his ankle against
baseball slide
against Chris Jericho? He was just doing a baseball slide underneath, like between Jericho's legs.
Remember when Kevin Nash tore his quad walking? And that's not a joke. I'm not making fun of that.
I mean, Vince McMahon, both quads sliding into the ring, which is something you see literally every single wrestling show.
Right.
I remember
Mongo McMichael, he did the spot where he punches the ring post, broke his hand. Goldberg smashed a window, ended up cutting like an artery.
All right, that was stupid.
I mean, that was
his
stupid,
fault.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not always like, oh, let me jump off the rope and do a 4,000 splash.
That's the safest stuff, guys.
the high flyers.
Oh,
It's the stupid
so,
stuff in between that'll hurt you. Jumping into the ring.
Do you remember? There was a book, and it was it was in the Attitude Era, so it was actually really behind the scenes, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a giant, like it wasn't super thick, but it was real big. It was almost like a vinyl cover, like the size of a vinyl album case. But it talked about one of the things I remember in there was a story by Goldust talking about how one of the worst injuries at the time he'd ever had was he screwed up his wrist on a bulldog, and he even calls it like that's one of the most basic moves. And my wrist landed wrong, and it messed everything up immediately. So everything we do is super dangerous. So
Don't try this at home.
without
kids.
seeing the actual video, someone summarized it on Reddit.
We're talking about Joey Janela.
Joey Janela.
I don't like these summaries.
Well, there's 8 points. PCL, gone. MCL, gone. Impaction fracture in a knee bone. Mild bone contusion in knee. Sprain in fibular ligament. Another tear in a ligament. ACL sprain. And small knee contusion. Will require major surgery, no ETA.
That's
on a return.
that's a complete reconstruction. He's going to have dead people body parts in him from now on.
So he's donezo for a while.
Yeah.
You got to think at least a year, if not more.
Minimum. So hopefully he can still be doing stuff with like Game Changer Wrestling, and he can he knows what he's doing from a behind the scenes perspective, but you have to assume that like a lot of that money he was using for those shows came from his wrestling appearances himself.
Right.
So Pro Wrestling Tees, guys, like
Go support him.
Yeah.
He needs it right now.
Yeah.
They all need it. My God, there's not enough money in the world to support the people that hurt themselves for our entertainment. But hey, let's talk about some good news. We go bad, good, bad, good. Kofi Kingston officially the longest reigning tag team champion of all time, passing Billy Gunn, and I was surprised by this.
This is the one,
Mr. Fuji.
That was the entire reason I put this on the list. Because
Mr. Fuji?
Because we talked about it last week and who the number 2 was, and it's like, oh, he had Billy Gunn between Smoking Guns, New Age Outlaws, and Billy and Chuck. He had multiple reigns between all of those teams, and all of them lasted like multiple months. So that's, it adds up really quick. I completely forget that Fuji was anything other than a manager.
Right.
And to go back and look at the history of the tag teams and stuff that he was in, like, oh, yeah, I don't know Jack. Like, at all.
A lot of those managers are like that. Bobby Heenan was a wrestler.
Yep.
Freddie Blassie, wrestler. They just, Gorilla Monsoon.
I still think of Blassie as a wrestler before I think of him as a manager.
I always think of, I know it sounds bad, but I always think of him as wheelchair-bound, pencil neck geeks. Harley Race even sometimes, I forget that he was a wrestler, and I think that he was like, in WCW, he was managing.
Oh, I was going to say, what the hell did you think he was?
Well, no, I know he was a wrestler. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Right.
But when I started to see Harley Race,
Yeah.
it was when he was older, had the kind of half fro going, and he was with the Dungeon of Doom in WCW filming, vignettes with the
Kevin Sullivan
little person, and
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. He has an actual name, and I don't remember it.
Corgan.
Absolutely not. I'm gonna look it up when we talk about other things.
But yeah, so congrats to Kofi, because that's an awesome accolade for him to get. Also, I think the biggest thing to come out of that news story was Big E's tweet, which I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that was so great.
He's the longest reigning tag team champion of all time. Never had a run-in with the law. Never had a substance abuse issue. Was never suspended for anything. Give the man his damn flowers while he can still smell them.
Damn.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, you're not let him. I want him to win the Royal Rumble. I know by the time that happens, I still think that it's going to be Ms. Bryan. That will be for the championship at Mania. And that's when Daniel Bryan will finally get his win. Mm-hmm. That said, it doesn't necessarily need to happen. And I would love for Samoa Joe to get a run at the championship. But boy, would I love Kofi AJ for the WWE Championship.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong.
Deserving.
I would also love Kofi Joe. So, I mean, that's still on the table.
Kofi Joe sounds like a good cup of coffee. Also, that little person's name, and are you proud of me? That I'm progressing into being a basic human. He had one eye. He had the eye patch over the other, and his name was Cheatham.
The way that you said that, it made it sound like he had one eye and he was wearing an eye patch over the good eye.
Someone definitely taught him wrong. And again, it was Kevin Sullivan. Ooh, that guy gives me the heebie-jeebies. Good on Kofi Kingston, 100%. Love him. God, I sound so insincere. Tony Schiavone is going to call. It's just we're running out of time already. Tony Schiavone is going to call the NWA Championship match, which is Cody versus Aldis, the rematch at NWA's 70th anniversary event. And good on Tony Schiavone. Mm-hmm. I always liked him. I know he got to a point where I think he was so miserable in WCW that he just didn't care anymore.
Yeah, he got real bad.
He got bad. Tony Schiavone was the WCW lead announcer, basically, after Bischoff left, wasn't it? Because Bischoff was lead announcer to a point, and then Schiavone kind of took over.
Yeah, I mean, Bischoff was just there as commentary until he was like the president.
NWO and all that stuff. Schiavone was really good. Him teamed up with Bobby Heenan was one of my favorite combos, although it also gave me one of my least favorite moments in professional wrestling.
Whose side is he on?
No, see, that was me, because that was actually Heenan that I had attributed it to Shivani because I hated that call so much.
But it was Heenan.
Until someone pointed out, no,
Hogan and
Heenan never liked Hogan. He never trusted Hogan. He saw through that good guy facade because Heenan was the heel commentator. So it makes sense for him to immediately just be like, no, this is too good to be true.
Right.
And so it's just like that kind of perspective immediately flipped it. And I was like, oh, of course, because Heenan was the greatest ever at everything he did.
True story. I'm talking
Accidents
about,
happen, man. We've been talking about it all show.
Me.
What I'm talking about was after Gorilla Monsoon passed away. And Heenan wanted to give. So Gorilla Monsoon was a WWF announcer, and him and Bobby Heenan were a team, and they were they were best friends. Bobby Heenan loved him, and when Gorilla Monsoon passed away, Heenan was in WCW at that point, and Heenan wanted to talk about it. And apparently Shivani did not want to mention it because it was WWF and this was WCW. So literally, I'm paraphrasing, but it was basically, and Bobby, you wanted to say something too. And Bobby gave this beautiful thing about Gorilla Monsoon.
Which really short, like not nearly the amount of time he would have liked or
Right.
deserved.
But very respectful and very loving. And then Shivani followed up with almost being like, all right, and tonight we got, and just went into shill mode. It was incredibly disrespectful.
Yeah.
And that was one of my least favorite things of wrestling right there. But anyway, he has definitely done well for himself in podcasting. He's done great for himself after WCW. And yeah, I think that's a good call for that, you know.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see.
You know who's a terrible ring commentator?
Dalton.
Vampiro.
Damn.
Oh,
I
my
like
God.
Vampiro
Did
on
you-
Lucha Underground.
Maybe Lucha Underground.
Lucha Underground is okay, but those AAA ones with like Matt Stryker,
yeah.
Have you seen the new Botchamania?
Yeah, I sure have.
Oh.
do they include the fart?
Yes, they did.
They sure did.
That and when they wouldn't play his music, and he's sitting
Oh
there.
yeah, and he's still just demanding them to play his music.
he's standing there, and I think who was it that did it with? Was it Stryker or
it was Conan.
It was against Conan.
No. I mean, who was the other announcer?
Oh, it was Stryker.
yeah.
Yeah,
Was it
Matt
Stryker? He's just like, you better get in there and fight, and you can just hear Vampiro play my fucking music.
Yeah.
It was bad. I also never liked him as a wrestler. Anyway, moving on. New Japan Pro Wrestling Destruction in Kobe.
Yes.
I almost said Cuba, and that would have been a mistake.
No, the only thing I really wanted to talk about from that was we got which, by the way, spoilers for Destruction in Kobe. If you haven't seen that event,
Kobe.
I think it's Kobe. I don't know. I'm real hungry and
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
so tired.
Same.
If it's for the latest New Japan event, full spoilers ahead, jump ahead 2 minutes. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but here we go. Tanahashi beat Okada, and then Jay White comes out, attacks Tanahashi, seemingly in defense of his fellow Chaos member Okada, and then lays out Okada, grabs a chair, goes to attack Okada more. Gato comes out, stops Jay White from attacking.
Goto.
What is it?
Goto.
Goto?
Yeah,
Who's
you're saying Gato.
I thought that's what they always say in.
Gato is the
Oh, he's the guy who runs New Japan.
yeah.
Dear Lord.
Goto is his ring guy.
Oh my, his second, yeah.
No, I mean no, it's
I
fine.
know,
You were one letter off.
I've literally done that the entire time. Every time I've ever talked about him, and I've always been like, why does the guy who run it? Because I've thought they were the same person. Like I genuinely thought that was the dude who like ran the company going out there with Okada.
Goto. That's somebody different.
Cool. Well, he comes out, who is Okada's famous second, and prevents Jay White from hitting him with a chair, and then hits him with, I'm gonna say it, one of the worst chair shots I've ever seen.
I need to see it now. I need to
He
watch
has
it.
this is terrible for the audio. He has his arms like this, so
Sideways.
Instead of like doing a full baseball swing,
He backhands him.
He goes like this. He swings the wrong way, and it looks real weird. But I thought that was kind of a really interesting turn of events for him to turn on Okada. I can't believe I'm so.
In fairness,
I'm
Goto's,
genuinely disheartened at how stupid I am.
No, you
right
good.
now.
Jeez, have you ever listened to this show at what Dalton and I do?
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's pretty substantial. I thought two human
She
beings
thought
were
Danny
one.
Glover and Donald Glover were the same person.
That's true. That was a thing that happened.
I mean, in fairness, father-son, that kind of mix-up happens
They're
all the time. What?
That's not his kid.
What?
Not even a little bit.
Yeah, no, Danny Glover was in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
And
then,
Donald Glover is not his kid.
and then his son got into acting and hip-hop music.
no.
Danny Glover's the original.
Stop
G.
it.
I can't.
Get
He's
some
the
help.
only-
I just want Taco Bell.
All right, let's talk about Raw, SmackDown, and CCW
Oh.
strides.
Okay, so
But before we do,
real quick, Yoshihashi got pretty actually injured. He kind of Titus O'Neil'd it, coming to the ring in assist to help Okada.
he Supermaned it. He just went face
except-
forward like this.
Except no arms out, and he cracked his head.
Jesus,
He got into the ring already bleeding.
He's hardcore.
Jay White takes him out and then sends him to the outside. And what kind of almost looks like he goes out to trash talk him, but I'm almost willing to bet he was checking on him because it's rough. And apparently Yoshihashi legitimately injured in that accident.
And from what I understand, when I was reading about the Yoshihashi thing earlier, Brie Bella has a tremendous heat on her for that.
I hate you so much.
All right, let's talk about Raw. I actually
You've never read about Yoshihashi?
I did not. In fact, when you said that, I had two thoughts. I thought of
Mario.
Yoshi from Mario Brothers.
I knew it.
And
I knew
Yoshi
it.
Tatsu.
That's the one I assumed.
I went to both places immediately. And then I thought about Tatsu
Yes.
from Ninja Turtles.
No.
It's full all around the place. Raw, I don't think I saw it myself. I did see the Brie Bella stuff. Obviously, everyone has. I think I did see Lashley, and he went one-on-one with Elias, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. Did we see anything else from that live? Because I haven't even watched. I usually watch the top 10 moments thing, where the What Culture. I'll watch their ups and downs. I did not get to watch it this week. So
the big story coming out of Raw was the Shield and Dogs of War again continuing their feud, but they're putting an interesting spin on it where now Ziggler and McIntyre and kind of Strowman, but mostly Ziggler and McIntyre are trying to convince Ambrose that the Shield needs him, but he doesn't need the Shield. Like, look at them right now holding their championship belts high. What do you have? You have nothing.
I did see that because they also pulled a flip on that, and Seth Rollins talked to Drew McIntyre and tried to convince him.
And then they flipped that in a great way where McIntyre then went to Ambrose and said, hey, so they just tried to recruit me. Like, he's trying to recruit me. They're already looking for your replacement.
So this will never happen, and it shouldn't happen because they are going to make a ton of money with the Shield. But how cool would it be if Ambrose and McIntyre
did
formed
a double
team?
turn?
Yeah, and that was a three-way.
They formed a team.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
it was Drew and Braun versus Seth and Roman versus no, not Drew and Braun, Dolphin Braun.
Or Dolphin Braun. Jesus.
It's okay. Versus Drew and Ambrose, and now Drew and Ambrose are just like kicking ass all over the place. And I'm like, screw it, we're the B team.
Yeah, no, it was
Go.
B team.
I liked that dynamic, and then at the end there was a really cool kind of like they were waiting for after it was Corbin and Authors of Pain. They were kind of waiting for Ambrose to give the signal, and they were going to go attack Reigns and Rollins, but he sided.
I like that
he sided
sign.
with the Shield. It's like, especially because they did at a certain point. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's not like Seth Rollins would ever stab you in the back.
What you say?
I was thinking it too.
Still my favorite video on YouTube. It's so much better.
We were super upset. We found a Yoda slap compilation. That wasn't one of the things that happened.
You've seen the Yoda slap video, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, we showed him last week.
Showed
Yeah.
last time.
Oh my god,
that
that's
was-
what you guys need to watch this weekend.
For as far as I know, that was kind of the biggest
one's
things
better.
that was a big focus of the show. And like you said, Lashley and
And
Leo Rush.
Which, by the way, Leo Rush.
Oh, I am so entertained by
He's
that.
incredibly entertaining, and he's great as Bobby's manager. But one thing I hate about it, and it's no fault of his, and it's kind of actually no fault at all, but when you see him being chased around the ring by Kevin Owens and Elias, it makes him look like a punk-ass little kid that can't hang because he's running from them. But, I mean, of course he would run from two
but he
people.
also like outsmarts them and
Right.
Yeah, because like I'm gonna ask. I know the answer is no. Did you ever watch him on 205 Live?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
you
I
have?
have. Yeah, I
Okay,
I
have
love
you-
his debut match against Fat Claudio Sanchez from
So
Coheed Cambria.
that's one of his thing is when he hits the ropes
and stops and goes
stops and does
yeah.
it again. I love that so much. Like that would be so cool to do, but I would die, like just cardio wise. Like
I
that
think-
is so awesome.
Rey Mysterio, like the Rey Mysterio types, would have found a way to launch themselves and attack as opposed to run. And I think they kind of missed an opportunity of not
See,
presenting
but he's
Leo
not
Rush in that
attacking.
way.
He's not attacking because if he attacks Elias, Lashley loses the match.
This was after the match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Lashley uses him as a projectile, and there's still time
That's
to
well
get.
special.
There's
Yeah.
still time to get there.
Oh, absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
don't think it's.
But it's a good pairing.
Yeah.
It's a really, and I was hoping that this would lead to a tag match between the two,
I mean, it will.
but instead they're doing Lashley and Cena versus Elias and
At Super Showdown?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but again, you can still have Leo out there, and that's for the Super Showdown thing.
Right.
They will still, I'm sure that'll be a not so fun fact. Hell in a Cell was the first pay-per-view since Owens got called up to the main roster that he didn't have a match on.
Well, he quit, didn't he?
No, he
mean-
was back.
He was back by then, yeah.
Let's talk about SmackDown. I know even less about SmackDown.
SmackDown had the Rusev Day explanation that went way more segments than I thought it would because Aiden English, he knows what happened in Milwaukee.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He knows about Milwaukee. Don't you, Lana? And then he walks out, and Rusev's like, what's he talking about? Don't worry about it. And then Becky comes up and is like, later in the show, like, so, Milwaukee, huh? Like, I remember Milwaukee. And it's this whole, like, I'm assuming they're teasing an infidelity thing where,
Right.
like, English and Lana hooked up maybe, or Lana was unfaithful.
And that
or-
English knew about it. Maybe he
Yeah,
covered it up,
or-
something like that.
Or better yet, she's not Russian.
No, she's so on Twitter,
Jesus.
she has
Damn
said she has taken acting lessons to get rid of her accent, and that's why she doesn't have it on TV.
Damn it,
At
Twitter.
least they tried to explain it.
No, they didn't try to explain it. Lana tried to explain it.
Because she was getting tired of getting tweets of, what happened to your accent?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
So-
think this is accurate.
So that
Push my
lasted.
glasses up.
Also,
Hey.
apparently, Aiden English has video footage, video proof of whatever this thing is.
Oh, no.
And that's going to be next week.
Oh, well, at least they hooked you.
I mean, yeah,
You know?
they did a thing.
They,
I'm not going to watch.
good cheating things.
Sheamus beat Kofi or Big. Sheamus beat Big E in a match because that's now how they're building their tag team feud is singles matches between.
Well, I mean, that's every
random.
time.
It's every time. We talked about it last time because they did it last week too.
They
There
do it every
was
month.
Becky, there was footage of Charlotte Flair in a photo shoot. Becky showing up out of nowhere and just beating the shit out of her.
So they're gonna
And
have
then
to.
it's like, take this picture of her holding the belt with her boot on Charlotte's
how
back.
is that not awesome? How is that a heel?
No, it was awesome.
I know.
The crowd treated it like Stone Cold.
I really think they're gonna have to show. No, it's too late.
They've already
they
kind
could
of
show a
shifted it.
clip of Becky going to her
Personally-
brother's grave and like taking a shit on it, and the crowd would pop bigger than ever.
Yeah.
That's
Becky's untouchable at this point.
you reap what you sow. This is what WWE has done.
One of the most genuinely adorable moments happened where R-Truth had a talk show with Carmella, who is now apparently face now just because she's paired with Truth.
The fabulous truth. That's what I meant to say. earlier.
Fabulous Truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the awesome truth was when Miz and Truth were taking me. So he had his talk show with Daniel Bryan as the guest. He asks Daniel Bryan a question, and hang on, I'm getting word. It's our 7-second dance break. The lights cut, music goes up. Truth and Carmella start dancing for 7 seconds. Sits down, as you were saying. And Daniel Bryan, I don't think he's a good enough actor to have been like. He just starts laughing, of just. You guys just have dance breaks in the middle of your interview? I love this show. Miz
Our
then,
truth is so good.
yeah.
He's so good.
Miz then interrupts and they do it's Miz versus Truth, and Miz wins with Bryan on commentary, and Miz beats him with Bryan's knee after he hits the skull crushing finale, because Miz points out, you're not willing to do whatever it takes to win like I am. That's why I beat you every time. And then so he hits a thumb to the eye, skull crushing finale, and then Bryan's own move.
Did you say skull crushing finale?
Probably. More than likely.
That's a hot take.
Chicken wing.
And then the main event segment was supposed to be a contract signing between AJ and Joe for Super Showdown, and instead Joe doesn't show up, and he's at a house with the mailbox that says Styles on it, because that's his real name and is what's on his mailbox. And Styles freaks out because Joe is now just like at his home ringing the doorbell.
I'm surprised they didn't have
creepy.
a picture of AJ Styles on the mailbox, just so
holding
you
the
know.
title.
Yeah,
Oh,
holding the title.
I was going to say doing the forearm.
Yes, this is.
That's
my
on the
house.
other side.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh
That's the
my
flag.
God.
That's the flag that comes up when there's outgoing mail.
Oh, my
Is
God.
it AJ in the form of the forearm?
Caleb Tripp, make it.
So I really hate these stalker. I hate it when they take angles and make it like when you involve the law, especially, or so, like whenever they have a flat out assault, or whenever they have a flat out stalking, or
When
you
Triple H-
steal cars.
When Triple H broke into Orton's home,
Yeah.
and they fought through the window and stuff.
When freaking Stone Cold attacked Brian Pillman in his home. And did we ever tell you about the saga of Brian Pillman in WWE?
I think so.
But that's for a later time because
Yeah, but I say I got a lot to dig
I'm
apart
homework.
if we're doing
Well,
that.
not only that, but I wanted to go into then Melanie, his wife, the segment they had with her. Not enough time to talk about how disgusting that was.
although real quick, someone tweeted at his son saying that him being a part of the multi-person headlock, including the ref being in a headlock, was ruining wrestling, and his dad would be ashamed. And he responds with, "My dad literally wrestled a pencil."
That wasn't the exact verbiage, but yeah.
I think he said effing pencil.
A giant fucking pencil.
And that pencil's name? Kevin Sullivan. Full circle. Full circle. Kevin Sullivan.
I hate that I don't know if you're doing a bit or not because
I'm
I'm not
not.
familiar with the pencil.
No, that's what he's referring to. I truly believe was that because Kevin Sullivan, the way he used to make himself up, kind of looked like a pencil.
No, I like it was a pencil.
He actually did wrestle a pencil.
Let me see if I can find
I've
it.
never seen that. and
Give me a-
probably a good reason.
Continue on with
Well,
whatever we're
doing
talking.
that. So that's Raw, SmackDown. That's not the biggest. That's not everything that happened, but that's the only things you need to know. And you really didn't even need to know that. Let's talk about Stride. Let's talk about Stride real quick. Let's recap what happened, and then because they don't have a show this weekend, do they?
Stride, no.
Okay, CCW has their show. Let's recap Stride, and then let's go to CCW.
Real quick, here is the clip. It is not Kevin Sullivan. It is an actual giant pencil.
Well, this is a giant pencil.
So
How much do you hate Joey Janela now?
I don't.
no, he just hates me. Now he just doesn't like Brian Pillman as much.
No, because I truly believe Pillman was nuts enough to wrestle a pencil. It wasn't. It wasn't for show when Brian Pillman did it. He just wanted to fight that pencil. That's like if Gary Busey married a spaghetti strainer. I don't think he would legitimately marry a spaghetti strainer.
Spaghetti strainer?
Look, I'm hungry too. We're all hungry. Let's talk about Stride. Big boy, did you wrestle at Stride? Did you DDT yourself? What happened?
Well,
Let's jump into it.
let me just say wrestling's hard sometimes, guys. No, Stride had a show, benefit show at Gallatin County High School last week. It was really good. We raised a lot of money for the school, which was awesome. I had the fortunate, I was there early enough to be in a tag match versus the principal of the school.
That was at the pep rally, wasn't it?
That was at the pep rally at so me and Dexter got destroyed by Tyler. Heath. It's very important to know that Heath was there, and the principal, who was Tyler something, I don't know.
Tony Wilson, right?
No, that's
a
a
different
different.
principal.
No, this
Gallatin.
was someone who legitimately wanted to beat up Dalton and Dexter.
Wait, what?
We'll talk about it
After the show.
Yeah,
After the show.
But yeah, no, a lot of really fun matches. Aaron Brooks beat Joey O'Reilly and Reiser in a triple threat match. Hargis beat Axe with the help of Beauregard. We have new tag champions, String Bean and Farmer. Good to them. Love that.
I was talking to actually Billy earlier about it, and he's very high on String Bean.
He
loves String Bean.
String Bean is
Well, yeah, he's so proud. He grew him.
yeah from
his own soil.
Bitch, I hate wrestling.
Cash was not able to take the legacy belt from Wraith. Me and Sleeveless McGee
Sleeveless McGee and Man Bun Manny.
in a losing effort to Roger Mathis.
He hit that sweet suplex DDT combo.
He did. It was a hell of a move. Let me see. Oh, and we have a new heavyweight champion.
Yes, Heath.
Yeah.
Or Tyler.
Heath.
Heath.
Jesus.
Facebook makes things difficult.
It does. You should always be the same person all the time.
Yeah, but
Don't look at me like that.
he became.
I'm not Kirk Waters. Sorry.
Now multiple-time heavyweight champion Heath Hatton. Jesus. I'm sorry.
Put $1 in the drawer.
Yep, every time.
The drawer. The jar.
The drawer.
Good God.
It's as much as we're saying it, it'll be a
But Heath
drawer.
Hatton is your new champion.
Heath Hatton is our new champion.
So we have new tag champs and we have a new champ.
Yes, and we have a show coming up on the 6th in Pickneyville, which is going to be the Abyss show. Which those Pickneyville shows are always
Those are a
always
lot of
fun.
I have to ask you. So your first wrestling match was with. Don't tell me because I want to figure this out for myself. It was against Bill. It was a tag match, right? Against
Yeah.
Billy and A.T. Brooks.
Aaron, yeah.
Aaron Brooks. Your second match was against El Magnifico.
Yeah.
And then this was your third match.
Third and fourth match, yeah.
Third and fourth match. How does it feel to progress from where you started against in that tag match with Billy and Aaron versus where you are now, especially wrestling Roger? Like, because in the list of people that they would say, hey, here's your path, here's your road to WrestleMania, now you have to fight Roger. I would go, okay, well, I'm going to put it in reverse. I want to go back to the beginning.
Can I go back to No Mercy that they're not doing anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an honor. I'm getting to work really good people. And, like, I'm messing up, but I'm messing up.
Well, you're learning as you
I'm
go.
learning as I
Yeah.
go. That's the thing with it, is it's a learning experience. And
you're there. You can no longer say that you're a trainee that's trying to get into it.
Oh, no, I'm
a
still-
legit, yeah, but you're a legit wrestler now.
Yeah.
You're a legit wrestler. You can take pride in saying that, and we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Now that brings us to CCW,
Uh-huh.
which has a show this Saturday at the Shawnee Park Center. Okay. He had to whisper to me, character or no character. No, this is unscripted.
Yeah,
I wanted
no.
to make
This
sure.
is unscripted.
No, that has been the hard and fast rule.
Okay, so this is the first time I think we've ever done this, but I'm going to do it. If you were going to go to the show this weekend at CCW and you say if you don't want spoilers, don't listen to this part. But we can't. Yeah, we can't even do that. So let's go over this weekend show.
Yeah.
And we'll just go by what is on the list. And that is, there's a bunch of great matches. This is going to be at the Shawnee Park Center, which is 835 Southwest End Boulevard, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. If you don't know, if you want to plug it into your GPS. If you live in Cape, it's where the baseball diamonds are, going toward the bridge. You know
like
what
if
I'm
you're
talking
crossing
about.
into Illinois,
Right.
it's on that road.
Right, so you know what we're talking about there. Doors open at 6, shows at 7, of course. And listen to this lineup, because this is not only is this a great lineup, but it's also a lot of returning people and a lot of new people, which is very, very cool. We got Farmer Billy Hills and as of right now, Sean Hoodrich taking on Matthias and Joey O'Reilly.
Yes.
That match is going to be great. Billy, I know he's got some new merch coming. A lot of these guys are going to have merch there, of course. You mentioned it earlier, Asa, so make sure you support these guys.
I fired up, like, super intense Billy is my favorite Billy.
Yes.
Like, he's great as the kind of the comedic smartass heel,
But he's so good when
and
he's pissy.
when he's super pissed off.
Yeah.
And legit angry, and I'm super excited to see more of that.
There was a reason that when he used to come into the arena and he would walk in and flip the table and, and act
Coming
like
through
a
the front
dick.
door.
Yeah. And he showed a side of that again at the last show when he got in Lane Austin's face.
Yep.
So I love that they're doing that with him, and they should continue to do that with him.
Yep.
Sean Hoodrich, again, as of right now, as far as we know, it's Sean Hoodrich. And I only say that because new guys, you never know, something may happen.
Right.
Card subject to change. But we met him at the last show. Seemed like a cool guy. From what I understand, he's a fantastic wrestler. And then we obviously know Matthias, Joey O'Reilly are both solid guys. Matthias, big, strong, scary. Joey O'Reilly, incredibly fast and talented, charismatic, great sideburns. So that match
The
should be
best
good.
sideburns.
I'm super excited. I'm also really, I think Roger and Joey will work really, really well together.
Have they
as a
wrestled?
tag
Have they
team.
tagged before?
No.
Not that I'm aware of. Like,
They've worked against each other a whole lot.
yeah,
Right.
Like because of Stride, like I've seen for sure.
yeah, Stride and like the last 2 matches at CCW that
Yeah.
Rogers had was against Joey.
Because that was like
So they have good chemistry together. So
Yeah.
I'm genuinely interested to see how they do as a team.
And then
because I
Billy,
think-
they obviously have chemistry with you. 'Cause
oh yeah,
again,
all
they
three
wrestle in
of
Stride.
them
Yeah.
have great chemistry with Billy as well. So I'm like, this is one that I'm super excited for.
Me too. There's a mystery opponent, which we actually legitimately don't know who it is. Brandon Barbwire Surprise versus Justin the Juice Smart.
Yep.
And we this is unscripted. We really don't know who it is for the most part. But whatever it is, I know it's going to be fun because I love Justin and Brandon so much. Like,
Yeah.
of all the people, if you ranked the people that we've become friends with in CCW, Justin and Brandon have to be near the top, along with like Austin and Billy, and a bunch of Lane, people that I'm going to forget. And please don't be upset with me. I'm just very tired and hungry. So I know it's going to be fun.
No,
and
it's like
good
I
to
said,
see them together.
It's like I said on CCW Live. Like, there's really, I wouldn't say that there's anyone on the only reason I said vast majority of people at CCW have become friends is just because like some of the people have only come like once or twice and we haven't had a chance to talk to them.
People like Savannah Stone or
I
Tudor
wouldn't
Lynn Ramsey.
I would never say that there was someone there's maybe one person. I think there was maybe one wrestler that I would say like that we didn't become friends with actively. And apparently that wasn't it wasn't
a hot
He's
take.
got some bacon in his pocket,
Hey
So,
Billy.
yeah.
Baby made a boom boom.
Oh, we're horrible.
Well,
That's fine.
Yeah, we're
But
horrible.
I mean, I wasn't trying to single anyone out by saying that at
Right.
all. It's just like we have genuinely become good friends with a lot of the people there, and if we haven't, it's usually because we just haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah, because we make friends with we're very easy to make friends with. We made friends with Justin Smart,
We did.
and he's just the
The
slimiest.
worst.
Yeah, Allie.
I don't know how you guys did it.
Oh,
Ali still doesn't like him.
well, he had a question.
And this is
for her.
unscripted.
What was his question?
Did you ever figure out what that question was?
Did it involve a
Don-
number?
Is
Justin Smart, Donald Glover.
is Childish Gambino Donald Glover's?
Jesus, yes.
Danny Glover's son.
That damn it.
Caleb Tripp, I need you to make a sign.
He's gonna run out of like material.
He
No,
is.
he's not.
He's too busy.
He's gonna buy out Hobby Lobby of their.
Then
Signboard.
everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. Brandon Espinoza versus Jackson Crowley. This is Espy's comeback match after he attacked Jackson at the last show during the three-way ladder match. And you said it on live, and you're 100% right. This is the match of the show. I can almost guarantee it. Although I do believe the main event's also going to really
Yeah, it's
for
gonna
that.
I would say this is the dark horse for and has the potential to steal the show because I think everybody's going in expecting Marco and PCO to steal the show. which they're not wrong in expecting that. But I think both Jackson and SB know that.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to really show what they
Plus,
can do.
I think Marco and PCO is very much going to be a match of. It's not going to be a straight up fight. There's going to be. I don't want to say gimmicks, but as far as if I were telling you how I thought it was going to go, there's going to be shenanigans. They're going to play off the fact that he's so big and he's so little. Whereas SB versus Jackson is very evenly matched, and these are just two guys going to go out there and kick the shit out of each other.
Yes,
hard,
for our entertainment,
because that's what they do, and they do it well. We also have Sarah Summers #Summertime. Allie, you want to do this one?
She's just going to say Sarah's name over and over.
I love Sarah. That's
What are you
really
distracted
all
by?
that's food.
And it's not even
There's
here.
no food here,
I
Allie.
know. I'm just thinking about food.
#Summertime defending her title against Cassandra Golden. I also looked up Cassandra Golden just to kind of see what I could find, and it looks like it's going to be a great match.
Yep.
I haven't talked to Sarah about it. I don't know if she's worked with Sarah before, but Sarah does a very good job, and we've had a lot of great women come in recently.
Yep.
New faces. Tootie Lynn Ramsey, which, by the way, we were in Target.
Yeah.
And have you seen those retro doll figures that they make for like Married with Children and Facts of Life and stuff like that?
No.
I've never watched Facts of Life.
What?
I was unaware that there was a character on
Named
that
Tootie?
show named
Yeah.
Tootie Ramsey.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know?
I didn't know that.
All right, I mean, that's a really deep cut. That was on Nick at Night whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, no.
Loved it.
Did not know. But yeah, Sarah Summers defending against Cassandra Golden. Can't wait for that one. Tag Team Championships, one of our new favorites, the Wise Church.
Yep.
Going up against the LA Hustlers. I'm so excited for this match because both of these teams are so incredibly talented.
This is one of those times that I'm super excited to be able to do like interviews and stuff, because I think this is going to be, assuming that the Hustlers get there on time, because they have such a long drive to make.
all the way from LA.
Yeah, if we can get them on board to do something, because they're always on board to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's just usually they get there just right as the show's starting, so we're doing other things. But like, I was so happy with how the stuff that we filmed with the Wise Church turned out, and like
it was so
the
good.
touches you put on it, like in the editing, like even put it over the top even more.
The music and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
so-
Well, I want to give credit. Really want to give credit to Allie on this one, because not only, I mean, I kind of had an idea of what to do, but I was going to do it all from one angle, from Mandy's camera. She's the one that suggested that we do it from both, and I think switching back and forth really added to the feel of it. I thought it went incredibly well. But yeah, so
Also, super credit to Mandy for holding the hard
the
cam
camera.
on a ladder. Oh, we will never ask you to do that again. I promise.
no, we'll be better prepared next time. And the main event, it's PCO, which again, up until recently, I did not know that this was the same guy that was in WWF as one of the Quebecers, who is an indie star at this point. Like,
Yeah.
really,
He even did.
Thanks to Joey Janela.
He did an interview
Really?
where he that was where he kind of really
It was a
broke
spring
in.
break.
He did an interview recently where he said he's doing better on the independent scene than he ever did while he was working for the Fed.
which is great.
Yeah,
That's always
and that
great.
just shows you how great a place pro wrestling is in, or independent wrestling is in right now.
And then, of course, Marco Stunt is the hottest thing going.
I genuinely believe what I said.
hot
Like
fire.
when we do CCW live, that's in character, but this isn't a moment of. I truly believed what I said, in the sense that this is a huge potential launching point for Marco to really establish himself, because he's going to get like all of the idiots online, like, he's so small, who is he?
Hey, little,
Who
is
is
that
the kid?
Cheatham?
But now, once this video hits and like we put them up on YouTube, and like when they're up on Facebook or however, like people will see that, because I genuinely think Marco is going to potentially kill himself going all out against PCO.
And PCO will help him.
And he will be happy to oblige.
Yep. Because we have never met PCO. This will be the first time we work with PCO this weekend. If you go by what Jason says, PCO is incredibly nice and can't wait to meet him. If you go by everything you've ever seen of him
On
online,
like YouTube, where he's getting like tased for breakfast, and with the salty he's
what were you talking about earlier?
the
Was
salty
that true?
spittoon.
No,
Legit. He is.
where he's getting darts thrown at him.
He
Yes,
is.
he is.
Curling a railroad tie while his manager guy is throwing darts at him.
Jesus.
Like actual, felt darts
that are
like,
sticking in his back.
that
and
are
all-
sticking into his
his
pec.
chest?
Yeah, they're going in his pec. So it's basically like
Yeah.
Oh my
he's
God.
curling this tie, and then on the downswing he's catching darts in his pec.
Oh, this
He's
is that,
not human.
It's that prison sequence where you're like, watch out for that guy, and he's curling guards while eating glass.
It's the joke of like, you got to take out the biggest guy in the prison yard your first day.
Yeah.
And then you see him and you're like,
no,
I will settle.
yeah. I think it's time I settled down and got married.
Right.
It's going to be such a good show.
I'm genuinely like it feels like forever since the last show.
Yeah, it does.
Which which I think it's because
end of the month.
Yeah.
To end of the month.
So it feels like forever since the last show. I'm super excited for the card. I am genuine. This will be the first show that I'm not actually sitting like ringside.
We're
for
all
it.
going to be working.
Like we're all going to be doing stuff. So
yeah.
I'm a little bit bummed, but at the other time I'm like I'll still be able to like watch everything, and I'm going to try to watch as much as I can. But
I'm concerned and this is a legit concern, that the crowd will suffer without you guys being there.
Honestly, the last few shows we've done less and less. Like we react to stuff, and
it's a far cry from when we first got there, and us three and Allie. Well, us four. I don't know why I said us three and Allie. That's stupid. Why'd I say it like that?
Why'd I say it like that?
But when we used to like the chants we would do and stuff like that, it's definitely not the same anymore.
And we still do stuff. And like Dalton and I will still kind of do stuff like that, but
it's definitely different. We're weary now. We're battle aged. I wonder. I hope if you're listening to the show and you're going to the show this weekend and you're in the crowd, please be loud, be expressive. There's a guy, Tony Aldridge.
There's no shame in reacting.
Yeah.
No.
Like let your
freak flag fly.
Yeah.
Mr. Pink that goes to the shows and that I know through the store, he always apologizes after every show and says, "I'm sorry I was so loud," and all that. And it's like, no, that's exactly like I don't care, our politics aside and all that. As a wrestling fan and you're in the front row being loud, that's exactly what I want people to do.
And even the people who are like super love the Pinnacle and Jeff Odell, like yes.
Right.
Like just react to something.
Yeah.
It's the ones who are sitting there and just like with their arms crossed, like,
why are you here?
Who's holding you hostage, man?
Yeah.
Like,
and like we know you're having a good
cool
time.
To have fun, but
right. We
it's
know you're
okay
having
to
a good time.
show it.
Oh, it's going to be a good show. I really think this is going to be one of our best shows. I really do. Dalton, you say you're still planning on going out here and calling out Austin Lane.
Yeah.
That's all we'll say. So there's that too for this weekend. It's going to be an incredible show. Please come out and see us. There's not many tickets left. Asa, you said they're no longer available online.
Yeah, they because they do that every time. Like the Wednesday before the shows, they get pulled from capewrestling.com.
But there's less than 100 left.
They're from CCW. I think it was their Twitter page announced that there were less than 100 tickets left.
Yeah.
There's a solid chance this is going to go to standing room only. So, and also general admission is second row and back. So the earlier you get there, the closer to the action you're going to be. It also guarantees you that you're going to get a ticket if you haven't bought yours online.
And there's always bells and whistles when you come.
Yeah.
The interaction with the fans that the wrestlers have, and that we'll have. I will be doing ring announcing for this. I'm very happy to say that we came to an agreement for me doing this, and I look forward to it because there's nothing like the CCW crowd. Whether you're in the crowd, whether you're performing, it's a bond. It's an intimate bond that you cannot get in other wrestling. So I love it so much. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight. That's going to be our show. We're all going to go grab some food. Ace, if you want to hit us with those links.
Patreon. We'll start off with facebook.com/Podzilla1985. Give us a like there. Interact with us. Let us know. If you're going to the show, let us know what you're excited for. If you just have an idea for any kind of topic, if there's like news or something that you wanted us to talk about, we'll talk about it with you on there. Or if you thought we're way off, if you think my opinion of Brie Bella is way off base, let me know.
Or 2K.
Let's talk about it. Or the 2K games. Let me know why if you think that the trailers and things that we've gotten for 2K so far really like are a turnaround for you. Let me know why. Because I just, as an outsider perspective, I don't see it, and I want to hear input on why you think that. And we're also just always looking to engage with fans. We see the numbers of listeners, and we would love to get to know you better. For who you are. So facebook.com/Podzilla1985 there. Podzilla1985.com. You can go back and listen to any of our older episodes. Last night we recorded and did Nerds for Hire with Trevor and Jesse. I thought that one was a lot of fun. We talk about board games and kind of how they have evolved from Monopoly and Risk all the way up to things like Catan and Betrayal and House of Haunted Hill. That one's a lot of fun. That's a show that I enjoy doing. So hopefully you guys will check that out and listen to us nerd about random stuff there. And all of the older episodes are up there too.
We had some problems with Podzilla recently, or Podbean.
Podbean kind of screwed us, so it may not have those newer episodes for like the last week or so may not have downloaded to your RSS feed. But I believe Jesse has gotten that straightened out, so you should have been. If you're listening to this, ideally it has been sorted out entirely.
And you can go back and listen to the old episodes you may have missed.
Yeah,
or just go back and listen to episodes in general.
Go back and listen to the Terrifying Tanner Thursdays to get in the mood for the Thursday shows coming up for October.
Go back and listen to just the episodes from 2015 in general and hear what a difference 3 years make. Unless you're like a kid, then don't go
Don't listen to those.
No.
No. Parental supervision.
So getting into Halloween, obviously next month, and we're gonna go back to having our theme month for Halloween. I don't know which shows, but we're definitely gonna have a horror spin on it, which I'm excited about.
This is totally, if I don't say it now, I'm gonna forget. There was a topic we were going to save for a Tuesday show for October, and I don't remember what it was.
We'll try to figure that out.
Yeah.
We'll try to figure that out. That's next month. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right now, you can go back, and I think this is one of the coolest things we've ever done, and we're going to top it this year. You can go back and watch last year's Halloween special where we tried to contact spirits, demons, whatever, using a Ouija board and an Xbox Kinect. And even though we only came up with what I would say is circumstantial evidence, it was still cool. And this year we're going to outdo it. I can't tell you what it is right now. Tanner and I are working on it. But my God, if this succeeds...
So get your hopes
Megan will
super
never come
high.
back into the store.
Get your hopes up,
way
they're
up.
Canceled horribly. Who won't come back in the store?
Megan.
Also,
Oh, Megan. Yeah, no, Megan. Okay.
and then finally, patreon.com/podzilla1985. We're starting to record the pre-shows. Those tend to be a lot of fun.
Today's was a lot of fun.
Today's was fun. Last night's was good. I thought last night's was really funny. They are uncensored, so and you can get access to all of those for just $1.
$1.
So every little bit helps.
What are you gonna do with that $1?
Especially if the things with Podbean continue, we're going to have to find an alternative that's not free.
Yeah.
And the amount of content that we put out is not going to be.
This ain't free. Like we're paying for this, and this is the cheapest service we can get.
Yeah.
So imagine.
Yeah.
A world without pizza.
So we're gonna.
So
yeah, every little bit helps, and we greatly appreciate it, and it's just a great way for you to kind of give a nod. Plus, I think we are planning on like working on more tiers and stuff, and then more content coming soon. The YouTube stuff that hopefully will happen towards the end of the year into early next year. I'm really excited.
We got some big plans.
We talked about doing like Super Mario Party type stuff too.
Oh,
which
really?
would be a terrible idea.
No. It's good. It's good. Yeah, definitely check all that out. And we'll see you this Saturday for CCW Best of the Best 3. And we hope you guys have the best of the best evening.
Yes.
Allie? Since we had to cancel Rusev Day, so you got to take us out with something fresh every week.
I found a story about two foxes that fell in love. It's so cute.